Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight we are taking a look at Cheap Trick's 1983 album, Next Position Please. It's a Dark Horse episode. Let's get ready. Welcome to the Contrarians and to yet another Dark Horse album episode. Tonight we're in Cheap Trick territory. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes back to Cheap Trick. And tonight, that's exactly what it's doing. Tonight we are looking at the 1983 album. There you go, Tim Derling with the everybody's got the props. We are looking at 1983's Next Position Please. First album produced by Todd Rundgren.
The only one.
The only one. Which I think, well, we'll discuss that.
Yeah.
But there's some tracks on here that are old tracks. This is probably like the last album. I don't know. There might have been other albums where they pulled old songs. But as far as I know, this is the last one where they were pulling some old material. But it spent 22 weeks on the Billboard chart, peaked at number 61. Was this the last highest charting Cheap Trick album? I don't know.
I think Standing on the Edge may have sold better.
I think Standing on the Edge peaked at 39, actually.
All
but
right.
I mean, it had a single that almost hit the top 40, so it had.
Well, you have to know, Lap of Luxury had to sell a lot more.
Oh yeah, Lap of Luxury's platinum.
Yeah, that's platinum.
Yeah, they hit the top 20.
Grant, don't be so silly thinking that this sold better. You're crazy. But this album's got John Brandt playing bass on it. This is probably the first record that John played on. He was on One, but I'm pretty sure Rick Nielsen played all the bass parts, and actually, he made the photo shoot.
Yeah, I think John Brandt
played on 3.
He played on a few songs. Yeah, but I think Rick Nielsen played bass on most.
Yeah, it's fine. You can't tell. It all sounds great. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this record, and we're going to go around the horn, talk to everybody, and find out, is this a Dark Horse record? Me, I don't know. I don't know, but I want to see what these gentlemen think. And what we're going to do is take an average out of 10, compile it at the end, and we'll see what we think. And I don't know. I'm going to start with Tate. Tate was here first and greeted me at the door, and I let him in. I was questioning that, but I came in. And then we'll go Tate, John. I'm just going to go around Rich, Tim, and then Butch, and then we'll zip around. Tate Davis, nice to see you. What's your thoughts on Next Position, Please?
Well, I will say I quite like this album a lot. The album that I listened to, the version of it, I listened to it on Spotify, and I think this is the case with most streaming services. But I think this was originally a CD reissue that's out on all the services now, called the authorized version, and not the original version. So my review and my notes are coming from the authorized version, so I do apologize in advance if the track listing that I'm about to rattle off here differs from the versions that you guys had listened to prepare for this little exercise here. So opening up with the song I Can't Take It, which was the song that Todd Rundgren wanted to be the kind of the lead single from the album, and it's a great mid-tempo rocker. It reminds me a lot of Badfinger, and I think Cheap Trick were really influenced by Badfinger as well. And it's got a great pocket from Bunny Carlos, catchy chorus, and it's a great way to start the album. I like it a lot. I can't take it, great chorus there. Borderline, really good acoustic guitar-driven song, a good crooning vocal from Robin Zander, who you didn't hear really singing that style a lot. Good synth solo, enjoyable song overall, and They Like to Leave All Our Troubles Behind. I like to leave all my troubles behind as well. I Don't Love Her Anymore is a really interesting song as well. It's a bluesy song, and you don't really think of Cheap Trick really doing blues stuff all that much, but it kind of works here. Great Beatles like harmonies in the chorus, a really good riff, and I'm not quite sure if there's electronic drums or not. I'm pretty sure Bunny is playing his kid. I'm not sure if they just use some like synth drums to kind of sweeten up the sound or anything like that, but it's a good, enjoyable song either way. One of my favorites on the album, the title track, Next Position Please. It could have been on Heaven Tonight or Dream Police. Could have.
It was demoed. They did it for Dream Police. They demoed.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. It also reminded me a lot of the Kinks, a lot of the early 80s Kinks stuff. It could have been a Kinks song off of Give the People What They Want or State of Confusion. I think Robin Zander's vocal delivery in that particular song reminds me a lot of Ray Davies and kind of the style that he was singing on the aforementioned Kinks stuff. Bunny Carlos is putting on a clinic here, folks. Like, if you want to hear a good Bunny Carlos drum performance, listen to the title track of this album. So Next Position Please is a great song.
I want to say real quick, hey Tate, I want to interrupt. If anybody goes out on YouTube, go and search Next Position Please demo, and it's up there. Go search it out and listen to that and compare it to what's on this record. And I think the demo kind of, well, it's a little bit more raw, more in your face. So check it out, kids. Anyway, go ahead, Tate.
Oh yeah, of course. Younger Girls is a really good solid song as well, with some great guitar flourishes from Rick and a really cool really cool bridge section with the decrescendo vocal break and another build up back in the chorus. That's really good. Don't Make Our Lover Crime sounds like a leftover from the movie Grease. Kind of cheesy synths. It's kind of fine. Not my favorite though. 3D, interesting song. I think it could have fit well on one as well. A little too electronic sound effects for me. I don't know why they put all of these weird effects on Robin's voice during the bridge. I thought that was kind of unnecessary. Good soloing from Rick, but again, too many electronic sound effects for that. You talk too much. You talk too much. You talk too much. Great mid-tempo rocker there. Good guitar solo from Rick. Again, with the weird effects on Robin's vocals, not quite sure. Why Oh Why Oh Why is a song that is like a Cars song. I think that could have fit really well on Panorama. It's really moody, which is really unlike Cheap Trick at this particular time. It's enjoyable, and I think the synths add a lot of great color here. So not exactly what we'd expect from Cheap Trick, but I think this was something that worked a lot. Won't Take No for an Answer is a different song because it seems like that in the verses that they're trying to sound like the Fix, and I like the Fix, but I don't really want to hear Cheap Trick trying to do the Fix. It doesn't work here, but the chorus is typical of Cheap Trick. So the verses section of the song are pretty bad, but the choruses are good, and it's got a good Rick Nielsen solo. So Won't Take No for an Answer. Okay. Heaven's Falling is not good. Too many electronic drums. I think Rick Nielsen was influenced by John Mellencamp on this particular tune. Again, with a good chorus too. Xander's got a good vocal performance on it, but Heaven's Falling, not my favorite. Invaders of the Heart, amazing. The My Generation jam at the beginning is a tease. I was really, really funny. I think it really would have fit well on one. I loved the bridge where Robin counts to 32 is. I think that worked really well. It kind of reminded me of if you remember UFO's cover of the Eddie Cochran song Something Else. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit, at least in the bridge. And I love the way that they do the 3 false endings. That's just, you think the song's going to end, and then you hear Bunny come in with the ba-da-da-da-da. He's just putting on a clinic. So Invaders of the Heart is a really, really good song. Twisted Heart is another good song. A really cool tom drum part from Bunny. The thing that I remember most from the song is My Twisted Heart is Gonna Break, which is the Robin Zander doing a scream, which works pretty well. It's repetitive, but it's still kind of an enjoyable tune. Don't Hit Me With the Love is a good mid-tempo rocker with a really good Rick solo. You Say Jump is a good trot. I'm not quite sure Robin needed to tell us where the second verse was. But I'm not quite sure how they mixed Rick's guitar, what they did with Rick's guitar in the mix for the solo. I thought that was kind of weird, but You Say Jump's an okay song. And then we get to easily my least favorite song, not only my least favorite song on the authorized version of the album, but one of my least favorite Cheap Trick recordings ever, Dancing the Night Away. Epic Records forced them to record it in hopes that they would have a hit, and it's awful. I don't know I know why they did it, but I can tell that they didn't want to do it. It doesn't sound like they were having a good time recording it. Way too many electronic effects. Go listen to the Motors original if you want to hear it. I'm sorry, Cheap Trick, you failed on this one. So overall, a really enjoyable effort from Cheap Trick. You got some great stuff on here. You got some enjoyable stuff on here. You got a few terrible tunes on here, but overall, definitely like lower upper shelf Cheap Trick due to the handful of really good songs on here. I don't like it quite as much as One on One, which came before it. I do like it better than Exposition Please, which came after. Todd Rundgren was a good choice for co-producer. And it seems like in some spots that he even calmed the band down from One on One and Dream Police and All Shook Up and some of the stuff that they did before that. So overall, it's a really solid effort from Cheap Trick, and it gets a 7.5 out of 10 for me.
7.5. All right. Cool. All right. Excellent, Tate. Except Heaven's Falling. What Tate? Come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
That's a great Todd Rundgren song. Oh my God, that's great.
I don't know.
I'm just giving you crap.
I know.
We all hear things differently, but when this album came out, that was the song. I thought, holy crap. That should have been the single. But what's that saying? When I thought that was the best song on the record.
Mm-hmm. I feel that way about the title track. I think that the title track really kind of has that same effect on me. I think
I hear you.
I really enjoy that title track a lot.
All right, cool. 7.5. All right, Tate. Thanks so much, John. The music nut. Let's throw it over to you. How are you, John? Nice to see you.
I am well. How about you guys?
Hey, talking Cheap Trick. It's all good,
man.
I'm groovy too, and I love this album. Well, I love this band. I like this album a lot. I think this was the last of the really good ones for a while. Yeah. Okay. And we'll get into that more, but this is a Todd Rundgren production, and Todd's fingerprints are all over this with the studio tricks.
Yeah.
Not just the studio tricks. He has a song on here. Some of the choruses sound like Utopia, and it works most of the time. Now, as Tate so eloquently said, I Can't Take It was what Todd wanted as the single. It should have been the single.
Yeah.
Instead, it came out as a second single. They put out Dancing the Night Away. It flopped. The momentum was lost. It's one of my favorite deep cuts by Cheap Trick. You put this out as the single, first single, they get another gold album out of this. And they probably get like a minor hit single along the lines of She's Tight or If You Want My Love. It was that catchy.
Yeah.
It's just great power pop. Maybe it was a little too late because the power pop sound is going out of vogue at this point. Because now we're going more into the new wave bands that are popular on MTV. We got a lot more arena rock at this point. You're seeing Lionel Richie get big and Prince get big and Michael Jackson was on fire. So maybe it wouldn't have been a huge hit based on changing musical trends, but I still think it would have charted. It would have got a lot of airplay. Now, Borderline. Now, if you go to see the band live now, they still do Borderline live. Yeah. And I've seen them do it twice. Both times, Rick Nielsen comes up to the mic and he says, "Oh, this is a song from Exposition, please." None of you bought it. Inevitably, somebody will say, "I bought it." And they'll go, "Oh, you were the one." And then they'll go into the beginning of the song. This is a cool tune. It's very melodic. Robin sings the heck out of it, especially at the end. I don't love Here Anymore with that Play by the Rules chorus. Maybe the song should have been called Play by the Rules. In fact, I believe they put out an instrumental version of this as a bonus track, and they call.
Oh, we
John,
lost you,
you're
John.
muted. Where are you?
Lost your. Couldn't hear you.
Oh,
well,
that is weird.
You're back.
I don't know what happened there, guys.
There, you're back.
Yeah.
Not like I don't think I muted myself. Okay, so go back into I Don't Love Here Anymore. It should have been called Play by the Rules because of the chorus. The Beatles-esque chorus is Beatles-esque in the delivery. But we also got those Todd Studio tricks on there. So, I mean, it's a solid track. Next Position Please sounds a lot like Utopia, but it works. It's a really cool tune. Now, when I hear Younger Girls, I think to myself, this should have came out in 1980. Because this is pure power pop bliss. And I think this would have, you put this out in 80, you put this on All Shook Up, it continues to hits.
Well, John, I don't want to.
It's a great deep cut.
I don't want to interrupt, but your thoughts were spot on. Because you remember, okay, found all the parts. All those were recorded at the same time.
Right.
Day Tripper's not live. It's made to sound live. But they also cut Younger Girls. They also cut, I'm going brain dead. Loser. They cut some of these other tracks with Jack Douglas as demos.
Okay.
Go on YouTube, you'll find it. But that version of Younger Girls kicks. It's all that Jack Douglas stuff from 1980 should all come out as one album because it would be absolutely brilliant. But Younger Girls, they used to perform in the clubs back in before they were signed. It's that old of a song. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, your ears are right on because they did record that for that demo thing with Jack Douglas. Is brilliant. But I like that version better than this.
Gotcha. Okay, now Don't Make Our Love a Crime. This is a fun song. There's a lot going on here. It's a little noisier than usual on the solo. I'm wondering if Todd played the solo on this because I know Todd did some guitar work on here. But I like the piano kicking in on that third verse. This is a cool tune. 3D, yep, as Tate indicated, too many studio tricks, especially with Robin's vocal. I do like the You Don't Like What You See chorus on there, but yeah, there's a lot going on. You Talk Too Much is closer to, it's got the spirit of punk. It's less than 2 minutes long. It's very driving. Bunny is the engine here, and we'll get more into that later on. Why Oh Why is that Beatles-esque pop that Cheap Trick does so well. It's no voices, it's no Mandacello, but it's still pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah.
It's also about a minute too long because it's by far the longest song on the album, I believe. It could have ended about a minute earlier. Won't Take No for an Answer is has a very Utopia-like beginning, and as Tate was saying, it does sound like the Fix on the verses, no question about it. And the choruses, I mean, it's okay. It's one of my least favorite songs on the album. Now, Heaven's Falling's fantastic. I know it sounds the most like Utopia, but a great song is a great song. As Butch was saying, would it have been a hit if it came out because of the times at that point? I'm not sure myself, but it's just a great song. So even if it sounds so much like Utopia, it's just a great song. I love the choruses on here. Just a catchy tune. And as far as some of the tracks at the end, Invaders of the Heart, yes, it does have that My Generation thing at the beginning, but it's just a great rockin' song. And it's 4 minutes. It could have been shaved off, but the thing is, you get a lot of Bunny Carlos on here, and the more Bunny, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Now, Twisted Heart, it sounds like Robin Sanders trying out for a horror movie, because these screams on here, I've never heard him scream like this on any album. I have all the studio albums. He never screamed like this. Interesting track. It's good. Don't Hit Me With Love. That's a good track. You Say Jump. It's a little more new wave. It's okay. It's not one of my least favorites. And Dance the Night Away. No, they shouldn't even recorded this. Todd was right all along. The record company was wrong. It should not be on the album. Period. So, to me, this is their last really good album until Cheap Trick 1997. There's a lot to love on here. And I think I'm going to go with, I'm thinking I'm going to be like the rest of y'all, 7.5.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's throw over to Rich. Rich, give me your thoughts on Next Position, please, and give me your ranking out of 10. Oh,
well, I like this album. I think it's probably my favorite of their 80s albums. I think it's the last really good album they did until Woke Up With a Monster. It's probably in my top 5 of favorite Cheap Trick albums. Even though I'm not as familiar with the second half as I am the first half, because I've had this on CD, and I really love the first 4 songs. And when listening to this past week, I realized I hadn't really over familiarized myself with side 2. And I remember liking what I was hearing. There was nothing that sounded bad on it. I think I was just more familiar with the first 4 songs, and then Heaven's Falling and Invaders of the Heart. But yeah, I love the first 4 tracks. I Can't Take It, I think, is a really good, strong opening song. I like the bass, the prominent bass line in it. It's a really catchy song. Borderline, I think, is a pretty cool tune. My favorite song is I Don't Love Here Anymore. I think to me, that is my favorite song of the album. I love everything about it. I think it's one of their best songs. Next Position Please is a fun song. I like that they throw a dirty lyric in it, just to make sure that it wasn't going to get played on the radio. It's like, yeah, let's throw this fun line in, and I won't say what the line is. You probably know it, but I think it's fun in that aspect, that you could kind of tell that they're, I don't know, just kind of having a fun time doing the album. Young New Girls is okay. Dancing the Night Away, that's on the 6th song on the version I have. Definitely the worst song. They shouldn't have recorded it. It was forced on them, and it sounds like it. The next 4 songs I'm not as familiar with as the first 4. You Talk Too Much, 3D, You Say Jump, Why Oh Why, Won't Take No for an Answer. But I remember when I was listening to them this past week, I thought they sounded pretty good. I thought all 4 of them were really decent songs. Heaven's Falling, I think that's a good song. It's definitely, it sounds probably more like Utopia than Cheap Trick. But then later, Utopia would do a song that I thought sounded like Cheap Trick, called Play This Game. So I felt like that was Cheap Trick kind of rubbing off on Todd Rundgren a little bit. I love Invaders of the Heart. I think that is like the most fun song on the album. I love them playing My Generation at the beginning of it. And then I love Rick Nielsen's, counting to 32 in the middle of it, and all the false endings. And it really sounds like they were just enjoying themselves doing that song, and I love Bunny Carlos's drumming. I think he's, he doesn't do like, he's not really very fancy, but he just has this very cool style. I don't know. It's hard to describe. He's just Bunny. And I always thought it was interesting that he was smoking a cigarette while playing drums. It's like, I just thought that was kind of strange. And then next song on the one I have, Don't Make Our Lover Crime. It's okay. I don't think it's one of the better songs, but overall, I do like the album. I think the guitar sound, it almost sounds more like a Utopia album than a Cheap Trick album, which is fine because I really like Utopia. And it actually reminds me of Oops, Wrong Planet, which is probably my second favorite Utopia album after the first one, Todd Rundgren's Utopia. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good album. And even though I'm not as familiar with the second half as I am the first, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it's a really good record. I don't think it's a great record, but I think it's a very good Cheap Trick album.
Well, we've got 2 7.5s. All right. Thanks, Rich. Let's get it over to Tim Durling. Tim, what is your thoughts on this record?
Thanks, Grant. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not an enormous Cheap Trick fan, but I just like them. I didn't get into them till like 96. Obviously I'd been aware of them, but I got good old Columbia House had a sale on their box sets, and that Sex America Cheap Trick was on really for a good price. And that's 4 CDs. And actually before that, I got the Greatest Hits, which is stupid. I just felt like Greatest Hits. And that's the first time that I heard anything from this album, because it's got I Can't Take It. And I think that's just an amazing song. It's interesting that it's a Robin Zander written song, because it could have come from the pen of Rick Nielsen, and it just shows you that it just sounds like Cheap Trick. But to me, that would have been a perfect radio song. It's got that nice little flam at the beginning, just that crack. That would have been great to hit that crack. It's like Bryan Adams' Summer '69. You hit that opening drum, and then it gives the DJ a little chance to talk. That would have been perfect. And it's accessible enough. It should have been a hit. I'm just looking on Discogs because I honestly didn't know what the singles were from this album. And yeah, Dancing the Night Away, I Can't Take It, and oddly enough, the title song. The title song would not have been my vote for, but then again, it's only at the UK and Europe. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I Can't Take It, great song. So then there's a few more songs from this that I heard on the box set. I know that Twisted Heart, I'm pretty sure, is on there because that's not on the original version of the album. When Tate mentioned that, I'm like, I know that title, but I don't know why. And yeah, it should be mentioned that the original vinyl only has 12 songs on it. When the cassette came out, You Talk Too Much and it just left my
I think Don't Make Our Love a Crime.
Yes, Don't Make Our Love a Crime, right. And I noticed that they made those two songs B-sides of the singles, which is a smart idea. And so that led to my added curiosity. I wonder if they put those two extra songs on the 8-track version, because this is the last Cheap Trick album to come on an 8-track. It's only a Columbia House version. I don't have it. It's the only Cheap Trick 8-track.
I had no idea.
Yeah, 1983. It's a Columbia House only, and it's only got 12 songs. The order's all mixed up, but it doesn't have those two songs on it. I mean, I've even got the latest when they came up with that in 2009 on 8-track. I've even got that. I don't have Next Position, Please.
The latest, Tim, the latest is expensive.
I got it.
Oh, you're mine.
And so this is an interesting photo here. Thought I'd show that off. This is not inside the CD.
Right.
And on the back, it's just their previous albums to that point. I got to say, like, once I started collecting Cheap Trick, I had a hard time finding this CD. It's not the easiest thing to find. Yeah. So that's for what I think of it. And Borderline's pretty good. It's really interesting because it's got like rocking choruses, but the rocking verses, but the chorus is very smooth. And Kansas has a song called Borderline on their album Vinyl Confessions. Same thing.
Right.
Not the same. The verses are kind of rocking, but then it gets to like a strumming acoustic chorus. It's really interesting. The songs don't sound alike, but like they both have the same title and they're within a year of each other. I don't love Here Anymore. I really like that. I like that. It's almost got like an Aerosmith, like a same old song and dance. I like it. It's a little bit different for them, but yeah, when that chorus comes in, it's got the Beatles-esque Cheap Trick chorus all over it. Next Position, Please is interesting because that phrase first came from High Priest of Rhythmic Noise, from my favorite Cheap Trick album, All Shook Up. But it's got the Next Position, Please. So it's like the title was sitting there for 3 years and they decided to use it. Younger Girls is a good, catchy, sort of a Stonesy song, but lyrics are a little creepy, maybe. Now that I hear that the song that it had been kicking around for a long time, maybe it's not so creepy. These guys are all in their 30s at this point. Anyway,
yeah,
they're certainly not the only band to do that. I mean, Kiss did it, Winger, yeah. Dancing the Night Away, not good. I didn't know the original. It just seems like a waste on here. Oddly enough, it's the only song on this album that was not produced by Todd Rundgren. It says it's produced by Cheap Trick and Ian Taylor. Now, Ian Taylor also co-produced the 97 Red Ant album, which couldn't be any more different sounding than this.
Yeah.
You Talk Too Much, that's one of the, I guess, bonus tracks. Good song. I mean, yeah, it's a good song. It's Robin music, gruffer vocal style. 3D is funny. 3D to me seems like a sequel to what is it? I Want Be Man from One On. It's that, we're playing with technology here.
Yeah.
You Say Jump's kind of it sounds like the label said, give us something else like I Want You to Want Me. It doesn't work, in my opinion. Why Oh Why Oh Why? It's a pretty ballad, interesting title. I heard that first on the box set. I do agree with John. It's really long. It doesn't need to be that long. It would never have been a radio single without being heavily edited for length. Won't Take No for an Answer. Yeah, it's okay. Now, personally, I think Heaven's Falling should have been a single.
I agree.
I think that is hit written all over it. When I first heard that, I'm like, oh, what's this? I don't know. It just jumped out at me. If it had said it was written by Rick Nielsen and Robin Zander, I wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Yeah.
I think that they and Todd Rundgren are simpatico when it comes to that, just that melody. And to me, that's got a perfect radio. It catches, to me, that just catches your attention. That comes off the station line. You're like, ooh, what's this? And it's almost got that Genesis Abacab. When the drums kick in, it's just the do, 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 do. But then, I mean, to me, it's just a gorgeous chorus, and Robin sings it so well. Invaders of the Heart is funny because inside the box set, in the liner notes, it actually says, I wonder if Tom Petty had heard this song when he wrote Free Fallin', because it's like da 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 da. And I'm like, he likes to sue people. Maybe they should sue him.
It could have been.
Or did. Sorry.
Oh, never noticed that.
But I do like the song. I like all the false endings and the My Generation bit. That's all a lot of fun. And for, they're still in their major label days, right? The fact that they said, hey, let's just have a little fun. And Don't Make Our Love a Crime is it's another Stonesy one, I think. I like the Born to Run homage. I've always thought this kind of was on the back. And I like the fact that, you could say that, Rick's not on the front cover, he's on the back. So what are you talking about? He's right here. So as far as what I think of it, I mean, obviously, this was the first album that it's the first one since they started having certifying albums that didn't certify. It didn't even go gold. And I just think that, I think at this point there was they were like, oh, Cheap Trick, they're old. They weren't old. I mean, they were in their mid-30s, right? I don't even think John Brandt was 30 at this point, but they're old. So I just don't think people paid any attention to them anymore. But I do remember when I first started paying more attention to, rock music in general, just being amazed at how many albums these guys had. And this was one that I would see because the title is catchy and the cover kind of sticks out. But I like this album. It's not my favorite. I'm going to give it a really solid 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
It's not a low 7, it's a high 7.
High 7. Okay. Excellent. All right. Thanks, Tim. That's awesome. Butch, let's throw it over to you, my friend. What's your thoughts on this one?
Okay. Well, I first got into Cheap Trick actually around the 101 record. When I discovered MTV at my grandparents' house in the summer, and they threatened to kill me if I didn't go outside and get some fresh air instead of sitting in front of the TV, because I would literally sit in front of the television for hours waiting to watch the video for She's Tight, because I knew at some point they were going to play it. But I would sit and wait for certain songs. But I'd seen the album covers before, though. The All Shook Up album cover always stuck out to me, but I never really heard anything by them. This is around the time when I'm just getting into music, so I'm just finding bands. I'm just getting reacclimated with Kiss, who I liked as a little kid, but it was different then. I mean, this is like now I'm getting into music. So 101 was my first record, and I think it's an interesting time for Cheap Trick at this time because I feel like they got kind of trapped in a way. As music switched over from the 70s into the 80s, I think they didn't quite know where they fit in some ways. And there's like 101 is kind of like a hard rock record, really. Maybe the heaviest record they did, aside from the first one. And then when you get to Next Position Please, I think it's a tough spot for them. Like, do they go, I think they leaned more commercial and a little bit of new wave and some of the hard rock was at a time when metal was starting to come on. It's when you're a band like them, it's hard to classify them. So what do? I mean, I think the record kind of got lost for that reason. It came out at a time when it wasn't hard rocking enough, but it wasn't new wavy enough to like, so it kind of got lost. Power pop at the time was, I mean, it was out there, but it was a tough sell in a lot of ways. But I actually, it's funny, until I did some of the research for this, I always thought I Can't Take It was the first single, because that's what I heard on the radio. I never heard Dancing the Night Away on the radio. I heard I Can't Take It. Again, I've been a huge 101 fan, and then I went back and got at Budokan and fell in love with the band. And when I heard I Can't Take It, I was like, I still adore that song. It's one of my top 10 favorite Cheap Trick songs. Just the mood and the melody of it, and it's kind of got like a, it's super melodic and accessible. It's got a little bit of Beatles vibe to it, and it's just a great song. And I could listen to it over and over and over again. Like, No problem. Great song. I think I've only gotten to see them play it live once, which is a bummer. I'm one of those guys that's like, they change the set all the time, so I'm like, please let tonight be the night they don't play the Flame and they play something weird instead. And but I did get to see them play Borderline once, which is another song I love. Again, like you guys have said, it's kind of interesting. The verse is a little bit more rocking and the chorus is more smooth, but I love that bridge in the middle and the solo section. It's got a Jeff Lynne-esque kind of vocal to it, I think, that is really cool. I Don't Love Here Anymore is okay. To me, it's got like almost a new wave kind of vibe. I also think it could have fit on All Shook Up. It has that kind of feel to it. Title track is great. That's the first time, on the record. Now the version I know is the LP. That's what I bought. I never had the cassette. When I was listening to some of this, if I wasn't listening to it on the record, I put a playlist together on Spotify that had the original running order from the album. So I love Next Position Please. It's the first time on the record that you hear one that could have fit on One. Like it's got that. It's a harder edge kind of song. Younger Girls is okay. It sounds kind of like a Throwback to Heaven Tonight to me. Like it could have fit on that record. Like Grant was saying, it's an older song.
Yeah.
Lyrics are terrible. I wouldn't have noticed it back in the day, but I noticed it now. Like just didn't age well. Dancing the Night Away sucks. The less said about that, the better. That's one of those examples of record companies not knowing what they're doing. They tanked, probably helped tank this record with that. 3D is cool. I always like that song. I like all the effects. I like Tim said, I always like filter. If you read the lyrics, filtered with, what I think they're going for. Like Tim was saying, like the whole playing with technology thing. I think that it's where all those effects make sense in this song. And I also thought too, like there was a good point about it. I always thought it sounded like the successor to I Won't Be Man. It's like one of these weird kind of like songs. You Say Jump's okay. I wrote down it sounds like a throwaway version of I Want You to Want Me. Or Hello, How Are You? I mean, it's okay. Nothing spectacular. Why Oh Why Oh Why is one of their quirky ballads. Kind of Lennon-esque, I think, like especially that the bridge, like 3/4 of the way through it. That halfway up, halfway down. That whole section is cool. Won't Take No for an Answer is pretty good. I love that raucous chorus on that. With Robin, especially like ripping it up at the end vocally. I love when he gets his ability to go from like soft and melodic to loud is unbelievable, and the fact he could do it live is even crazier to me, and still do it well. Heaven's Falling is awesome. That's one of my favorites. I agree. If that would have been a single, could have been huge. Going back to the time period, I'm not sure how it would have been received, but in terms of like just being like hit single worthy, it's tremendous. It's got Rundgren written off for years. It always stuck out to me as like not like a sore thumb, but it like kind of stood out from the rest of the record as it sounded the least like Cheap Trick. I thought in the most like Todd Rundgren. And then Invaders of the Heart's great. That's the loudest rocker on the album. I think it could have been on any of the older records. I don't know, the songs that are like bonus tracks for me, Where You Talk Too Much, Don't Make Our Love a Crime, Twisted Hearts. I like Twisted Heart. It's got that moody, it's got a moody vibe to it, and Xander's really pushing his voice in parts of it. Don't Hit Me With Love is okay. I think overall, I like the sound of it. It's obviously smoother compared to One on One, which is more brash and in your face. This one has a very, like a pop sheen to it. And you could tell Rundgren's fingerprints are all over the production of this. Another thing that's interesting about the cover, if you flip it over, like I noticed this when I was doing some of the research, is Rick has 8.5 fingers up because initially they were going to call the album 8.5 because they counted the EP, found all the parts as half a record. So I just thought that was kind of cool. I'll give the album like a 7.5 out of 10. Like to me, it's the last of the great set of records, the essential ones before the self-titled in '97, like the Red Ant album.
Cheap
I
Trick.
love the record.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple songs like Drag It Down, but Drag the Score Down. But I mean, I still go back and listen to it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I listened to it all the time back in the day. Like I, love it. So 7.5 for me.
All right, cool. Yeah. So far, that's what it is across the board.
It's pretty consistent.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah. I think
7.5. There's not much,
yeah, there's not much
Well,
difference.
I haven't talked about it yet, so I'm going to go real quick. I don't have to go over the tracks. I agree with a lot of the points. I think, yes, this sounds like a Todd Rundgren Utopia album. In fact, if you look at Todd Rundgren's catalog, if you look at Tortured Artist Effect, what's that, 81 or 83? Is that 80? Wait a
3
minute.
or 84. Yeah.
Okay, 83, I think.
Yeah.
It's the same production. You hear all that Ovation 12 string on here, which drives me crazy. It's all over Tortured Artist Effect. So this is what Todd was into. This is the sound he was playing right now. He'd love that damn Ovation 12 string. That fakey. I like it. Just sounds like fake 12 string running through a guitar amp. Not a fan of, huh?
It's like Time Heals the Wounds. That's like what Heaven's Fallen reminds me of Time Heals by
exactly. I was going to bring that up, Butch. It's almost the same damn sound. Okay.
Those Ovations, those are those bowl-shaped guitars, right? Yeah.
But Todd was into it. He had that black one. He played it all the time. When I saw him on tour in '89 playing that damn Ovation, hell, that's what everybody was playing then. Now they don't seem to play them anymore, but that's a whole other thing. But this sounds like a Todd Rundgren album. That's where I have the problem. Now you could look at, like, of course, we did that Grand Funk episode, so now I'm all Grand Funk oriented. You can listen to American Band and Shining On, and you can get a hint of Todd Rundgren, but this album is just it is 50-50 Cheap Trick and Todd Rundgren. It's okay. The record, it's not the same type of record that I like from Cheap Trick, because there doesn't seem to be like a focus. All the songs are kind of haphazard. It's almost like Cheap Trick doesn't know how they want to come off anymore.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you listen to the first Cheap Trick album. You listen to anything Jack Douglas or Tom Werman, and it's an album. All the songs could be different, but they had I don't even know how to put it, a magic. I don't want to say soul, but when I listen to those records, I think that is what Cheap Trick's supposed to sound like. You still have a hint of that on All Shook Up. By the time we get to this, Cheap Trick doesn't even know what they're supposed to sound like anymore. You get hints of it. I think I Can't Take It, however it looks with the 12 string, I think it's brilliant because it's such a strong tune that you can't bring it down. Next Position, Please, I think would have been a hell of a lot better on Dream Police if they would have carried it through. And I think I'm sure they got along great with Todd. They knew Todd from back in the day. I'm not sure if he's the exact proper producer for this stuff, because I think a lot of this stuff comes off half-baked, like it's not fully realized, like Dream Police, Heaven Tonight, In Color, the first one. Those are all fully realized. It seems like here's some songs, and we didn't really work on them a whole hell of a lot. Some of them we worked on, but compared to what comes after this until the '97 album, the Red Ant album sounds like it's fully realized. It sounds like a whole album. They're back finally. But this is the first album where we start getting Epic getting in there. Epic's getting in there and starting to manipulate the band. I think it makes the band question themselves, like, well, they don't even know what to do. They're listening to the damn record company. And obviously we know that with the albums later. This is probably the last, All Shook Up is probably the last great 80s album, I would say. This is behind it, and One-on-One's okay too. But I have a whole spiel about that when we're not talking about One-on-One. But I think there are great songs on here. Next Position, Please. Younger Girls I like because it does take you back to the old days. The lyrics, questionable, but whatever. This is what they used to play in the damn bars. I'll give it a pass. Heaven's Falling, I think, is brilliant, but they didn't even write it. Invaders of the Heart's fun, but is it a throwaway? I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it's fun. We all like it, but this doesn't make a truly great artistic statement. Those other records, artistic statements, brilliant. Everybody looks at Heaven Tonight, Dream Police, In Color as just brilliant records.
Well,
Songwriting. Go ahead.
I think it's a chemistry issue too, like with Peterson being out of the band. I mean, John Brandt was a really good bass player, but
Well,
you know, with Tom out of the band after All Shook Up, it kind of, I think you take that piece out, like whether or not he wrote like a ton of stuff. It's part of their sound that they came up with and part of their identity. And now he's on the outs with the band and not on the records. Like I think it kind of,
well, he wasn't that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I understood that, according to Robin Zander, Tom Peterson quit early in All Shook Up. I'm not sure how much is Rick Nielsen playing bass on that and what Tom Peterson's playing. I think Robin said he only played on 3 tracks. Or no, Bunny. I'm sorry, I'm getting the interviews confused. Bunny, I think it was Bunny Carlos who said that he quit early on. You know, he's out hanging out with Dagmar. Dagmar's trying to pull him away to do that record. So he was all in love and pulled him away. And I think he's only on 3 tracks on All Shook Up.
You mean Tom Peterson?
Yeah. He's out on All Shook Up. Yeah, he's all in love and all that. He's barely on it. That's what Bunny said. He's only like on 3 tracks.
So they got, what's his name, Pete Comita for very brief
Pete
period.
came in after. He came in after that, but I think Rick.
Well, so who did the All Shook Up tour?
Pete Comita did, and then he also was with them when they did Reach Out, and
which brilliant.
Okay, that's a great song, but he wrote it, so they'll never play it live again.
One of the greatest Cheap Trick songs ever, and he never wrote it. But if and that was Roy Thomas Baker produced. If Roy Thomas Baker could have, if they could, maybe Pete Comita was a secret weapon. I know we're going on a tangent. Maybe Pete Comita was a secret weapon, but he left. And then, you know, by the time they did One-on-One, he wasn't there. So Rick's playing the bass, blah, blah, blah. But man, if they could have had more tracks like Reach Out, or what's the other track on Heavy Metal?
Dreaming. It's not as good. It's not as good as Reach Out.
No, but it still sounds like that classic Cheap Trick, even though it's got keyboards and stuff. God, if they could have continued on and milked it, whatever. I'm on a tangent now. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. I get all worked up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break it.
No, that's okay. If I'm going to rate this is probably the second to the greatest 80s album from Cheap Trick, I think. I like it. It's fine, but I wish it was more finely tuned. I wish it had more structure. Like if I'm listening to it, it was more of an album. It's just so much Todd, and I get it, just the way it is. But I guess I'm going to go with Tim Derling. I can't go 7.5, but I can give it a 7. It's just because I know what the greatness that came before, you know, and exactly like when you're saying, Butch, the Red Ant album came out and we all get it and we go, holy moly, they're back. You know, what a great record. I love the Red Ant record.
I kind of thought that would Woke Up With a Monster. I thought Woke Up With a Monster.
Well, we're getting there. Yeah. I think it's of the 90s stuff. I think
I think it was definitely a step back, a step back in the right direction for them. You know, it was still a little bit commercial. But I think it was definitely a tough sounding album. I thought there were some great songs off it, and they started taking more of the responsibility for the songwriting.
Right.
Again. So, you know, I think,
it's good. You know, another thing about Next Position Please that I think needs to be mentioned is the fact that all 6 of us, a lot of us have mentioned the fact that it doesn't seem to hold together as an album. And I'll bet you, if we were all to list the songs on Next Position Please, we'd list them in a different order because there are different there's different versions of them.
Yeah,
you know, the CDs in one order, the records missing a couple of songs. So it's like, it just feels like, well, we have to put an album out this year. Here's some songs. And as long as I Can't Take It starts off, we're all right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like the songs have to be in any particular order.
Right.
No, there's no. Yeah, they're just a collection of tracks.
And I think Dancing,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think Dancing the Night Away was kind of a foreshadowing to the type of sound that they would pursue on Standing on the Edge and Lap of Luxury and
I don't know. I don't think by the time we get into that era where the record company is running them, had no say on anything.
No, at this point they still, they were still coming off of a gold record.
Right.
So they still had a little bit of clout. Todd Rundgren's at least got cachet as a big name. I can't believe this album only peaked at 61. Like, what a drop.
Yeah.
That's a big drop.
Like, that's, that's that. You got to think about it at the time. I mean, now you have albums that debut in the top 10 that sell very few copies, but to debut at 61 or not get past 61 after you've had top 10 albums, platinum albums, that's a lot less people buying your album. Like, that's a lot of like listener fatigue. And I know it goes in cycles and they've had this roller coaster career, but it's a shame because there are, there are worthy songs on here.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, you look at that later period, that 90s period where Epic is running the show, like I said, you listen to the Little Sister that has the original mix that, oh God, brain problem. Jack Douglas did. It's almost like a different song. There's real drums on it. It's not all pimped out. They butchered that whole record, after they were done with it. They ruined it. And I think there's a lot of great stuff on there. If you could just get,
you have to listen
remix
through
it.
the production.
It's
hard. I think there's good songs on the Doctor too, but you have to listen through the production. I think It's Only Love is great. Take Me to the Top. There's good songs on there, but you got to listen to the platter.
If you could get through it, but I can't get through the production. Production to me is very important. The way it comes off, the
production
feeling.
On those, the Cheap Trick productions in the 80s are so very different from one another. They're in your face. It's hard to ignore them.
Like, I can see why
hard to
some
ignore.
people don't like One-on-One because of the production on it. Like, the production on One-on-One for me doesn't bother me all that much. The reason I love One-on-One so much is because I think the songs are there. And it's way more memorable stuff on there for me than this album, Exposition, Please.
It's a noisy production, but I like all the bells and whistles. Like, it makes no sense. But I mean, it's Roy Thomas Baker. It's over the top.
Yeah.
But when you listen to 101 as an album, though, it's
one good song after another.
It holds up as an album because you don't get one song and you're going, well, why is that on there? You know what I mean? Right. This doesn't hold up as an album. It holds up better as individual tracks.
And what's great about One-on-One too is that it's only, I think the total running time of it is only at like 35 minutes. So it comes in, it kicks your ass with a bunch of great songs and then it just leaves you wanting more. Which honestly is what made the late 70s Cheap Trick stuff so great. I mean, the self-titled and In Color in particular.
Now I'm changing my rating again. No, this I think's a 7, but I think one-on-one is a better record than this.
Oh yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's a much stronger record. Let's wrap this dog up. We've been on a tangent. It's been a great discussion. God, this is going to be something to edit. Anyway, so out of everybody, we got 7.5s, 2 7s, and well, of course, it's going to come up to a 7.3. Is this a dark horse record? Well, I don't really think it's a dark horse record anyway, but since I determine what a dark horse record is, I guess I'm going to give it a stamp because it did give a 7.3. So I just think, I don't know. I think we could have looked at something else that would have been darker, but God knows this has been a great discussion. So I don't care if it's a dark horse or not. Anytime we talk Cheap Trick, it's always fun. So 7.3, and I don't think that's bad for what it is. God knows Lap of Luxury wouldn't get that.
No, I mean, would you consider how many more copies Lap of Luxury sold? This is plainly a better album.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter how great the Flame is.
The benefit of Lap of Luxury was it saved their career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
I'm the only person on the planet that likes the Flame. I really
No, I like it too.
I like the Flame.
You like it too? Okay.
I don't care. I don't have to hear it again, but I mean, it doesn't make me throw up. But when it came out, I thought, oh God, we're really in trouble. You know,
I
because I
like the
thought that
band.
with All Shook Up, I thought, oh,
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
You know, it is quite something that they were able to come back, because most bands, once they have that slip, they never do it. Or if they do, it's like Heart, they switch labels. The Cheap
Yeah.
Trick was still in that Epic contract, and out of nowhere, they had a #1 song. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. You don't get that many chances. These bands back then signed these long contracts, so you had a chance to make up for your stumbles. I can't believe this band was so prolific. They got to be one of the most prolific bands. Like, how many albums worth of material that didn't make their albums would Cheap Trick have? There's a lot. Like, we do this series, I'm not going to have nearly the knowledge that the rest of you guys will, because I don't have all the deluxe editions with this band, but I look forward to it.
All right. Well, there you go, gentlemen. Get ready. Start your engines. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Please like, subscribe. You like to be on these talks, you can be on one of these panel discussions. We do have a Ko-fi. We buy us a cup of coffee, buy us a pint or whatever. We like donations too. Money, bring on the money. And yeah, so stay tuned for more great content. What's coming up, God knows. But I'm sure there'll be something up tomorrow. So anyway, please like, subscribe. We'll see you. And gentlemen, thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Fun, guys.
Thank you.